Hi everyone, welcome to We Movies. I'm Scotty.
I'm Caleb.
And I'm Jordan.
And today we'll be talking about Black Panther, the Oscar-nominated Marvel movie.
I feel like we do need to try and
Sing.
yes.
Raise the levels up here.
Project!
First off, our reactions to the movie when we first saw it. Mine was very meh.
Mine was very meh.
Mine was.
So I saw it and then I came out and I was like,
You did you?
yeah, no. Came out the closet where I saw the movie and I was
That
like,
film was so good it made me gay.
I learned things about myself during that movie.
Wow.
Yeah, meh. I didn't hate it. It didn't do anything offensive in my eyes. I just wasn't that impressed by it. It just seemed like a Marvel movie, a kind of cookie cutter superhero movie.
Yep.
More cookie cutter than usual Marvel films. I don't know. I felt like it was kind of like we had films that obviously were sticking within the mold previously. Like I guess Thor 2 springs to mind for me as a film that's very cookie cutter. But then we had a lot of other films in between.
Cookie cutter as just bad? Is that the
No. Because I don't find. Exactly.
Okay.
I don't find Thor 2 to be like a horrible, bad, offensive film. I just find it, you know,
It's just
Yeah.
it serves a purpose in that it doesn't
I felt it was
do anything
on
else.
par with sort of Thor 1. wasn't as bad as Thor 2. And I don't get all the hate around Iron Man 2, but sure. I felt like it was kind of just a run-of-the-mill Marvel movie.
Who?
I think it's like Captain America 1. Like, that's to me what it is. It's like a movie that's there,
I'd say
serves
that.
its purpose.
So what you're saying is
I enjoyed it a lot
it's
more than
like,
Wonder Woman.
It's like the first film.
No, but sometimes the first ones are the best ones.
Yeah, that's true.
And this,
sometimes, but even sometimes, like I think Iron Man is the only one I could think of that was the first one that was like really solid. Oh wait, Spider-Man. Sorry. Yeah.
But
Homecoming.
Spider-Man, his first one was Civil War,
Yeah,
wasn't
exactly.
it?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Which is technically also Black Panther's first movie.
Speaking of cast lists, who made this movie?
So,
who
Black
made this
Panther
movie?
was directed by Ryan Coogler, written by Ryan Coogler and Joe Robert.
And he's done Fruitvale Station,
Yep.
Creed.
Yep.
That's all I know.
I think he may have done one more film, but that's pretty much his resume
Creed was
so
good.
far.
Yeah,
Creed was
very
great.
good.
I hear good things
Creed.
about Fruitvale Station.
That is also a good movie.
There you go.
Yeah, I can't read your handwriting, Jordan, so do you want to read out the rest of it?
All right.
Sorry he didn't take cryptography.
Yeah. I was training to be a
Whatever that is.
doctor, but I didn't have the
Zinger.
grades. I say directed by Ryan Coogler, written by Ryan Coogler and Joe Robert Cole. Cinematographer was Rachel Morrison, and it stars Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o, Danai Gurira, Martin Freeman, Daniel Kaluuya, Letitia Wright, Winston Duke, Angela Bassett, Forrest Whitaker, and Andy Serkis. And the budget for this film, before marketing, was $200 million.
And it made $1 billion.
Yes, it did. And I think it holds the record for fastest to $1 billion as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
it
well
got
done.
nominated for the Best Picture at the Academy Awards for this year.
Well done.
Well done.
People, you're out in the streets championing a
Yeah.
movie by a faceless corporation that just wants money.
Marvel isn't faceless. It had the face of Stan Lee until recently.
Oh, let's not go down that path. Let's
Look,
not taint the memory of
Look, let's
Stan
not
Lee
forget,
with
at the end of the day,
with
this is a
consumerism.
movie designed to make money.
Yes.
That's it.
They
That's its
succeeded.
purpose. It's a
Yes.
superhero movie.
I think any film, regardless of whether it's good or bad, if it's a blockbuster and if they sunk like over $150 million into the budget, I think you could safely say it's aimed to rake in at least more than that.
Absolutely.
Um,
That could be said about
That's
any
it.
movie with a huge budget.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but
Yeah.
all those movies with big budgets are the blockbusters. Every single one of them.
I think almost all movies have the aim of making the money back.
You'd like that. I mean,
Right.
well, actually, no. Actually, I learnt about something recently about the film industry. I learnt it. You're not going to hear it very often. I learnt something new. And apparently they do have these insurance agencies over in the States for Hollywood production
Right.
stuff. And what happens is if they say, okay, I'm insuring this film for $100 million on return, and if it doesn't make back, or if they say I'm insuring this for the budget we spent on it, and if it doesn't make that much back, then I get that money back, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like they get that money back, and sometimes they use it as a tax write-off for really horrible films, and they go, we don't need that anymore. Let's pull the plug and we'll release it. It's a piece of shit, but who cares? We're going to get our money back.
Okay. I thought that was more so that they didn't have to pay royalties to people because Star Wars taught the lesson that Alec Guinness.
Alec Guinness.
He hated Star Wars. He didn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
Also, he knew that they had no money, so they're like, I don't know, just pay me a royalty of it or something. And it just made him an overnight.
Well, I guess there was got
issues with Star Wars.
But like it's a multifaceted kind of situation that they get themselves into.
Anyway, regardless of all this, $1 billion movie Black Panther.
Yes.
Lots of people love it.
Yes.
That's cool.
That is cool.
I don't have a problem with it.
That's fine.
Are we going to talk about why?
I didn't realize that all of these categories were for most popular movie.
They're not.
Because, I mean, can we go through the categories that it's nominated for? Which is interesting. The 2019 Academy Awards, it's nominated for how many awards?
It's at least two. It's definitely nominated for Best Picture
hold on.
and Costume.
Keep talking. I'm going to look it up.
Okay,
Hold on, keep talking.
So,
hold on. Stop. Keep talking.
It's nominated ahead of First Man for Best Picture. It's nominated ahead of Avengers for Best Picture.
It's nominated ahead of If Beale Street Could Talk for Best Picture. It's nominated ahead of...
These movies were not nominated.
The Hate You Give. Right? Exactly, yeah. It's nominated against The Hate You Give. It's not nominated against Beautiful Boy. It's nominated against so many other really great films that were, in my opinion, much better made movies than Black Panther.
I think it's worth noting that the last year's Academy Awards were the lowest viewed by an audience since forever.
Yeah.
It was the lowest viewed, and think about the contenders for last year's Best Picture. We had 3 billboards. We had Dunkirk, Shape of Water.
There was a lot of good ones last year.
There were great movies nominated last year.
Remember them.
Not really crowd-pleasing movies.
6 Academy Award nominations is what Black Panther has.
Wow, that's incredible. This year, Bohemian Rhapsody is nominated. Black Panther's nominated.
You just said... Are you trying to use that as an example of a popular movie, though? Because it
seems like they're trying to do a 180 this year and just nominate all the popular
Bohemian
movies.
Rhapsody is not a popular movie.
I think
it is. It really is.
I don't want it to be, Scotty,
really
but
is.
I disagree with you, man. I think it is quite a popular film.
A lot of people say it's amazing.
Yeah.
I've heard that so many times.
I know it hurts, and it hurt me too.
Raked in at the box office. The tickets don't lie. People are loving this movie.
Which I think is a shame, considering the history of not just the director, but also the just shoddy behind the scenes
crap. We're not
crap.
talking about other movies. We're trying to talk about Black Panther. And I feel like we're going off topic a lot right now.
We are.
I mean, look, if we're getting honest, I think...
But hey.
Black Panther deserves it more than Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, yeah.
That's my opinion. Not that I think Bohemian Rhapsody deserves it at all. Maybe for best sound editing. And maybe best performance
for Rami Malek.
Absolutely. I reckon he did a great job in that. Other than that, no.
But that's, once again, you're talking about performances that get nominated for the film. Because Can You Ever Forgive Me with Richard E. Grant and Melissa McCarthy isn't nominated for Best Picture. And
but both of them are nominated for Best Performance.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? So 6 nominations. What were those nominations?
6 nominations. It was best costume design, best production design, which
that was good. That was good because I saw
so much CGI.
I saw some practical scenes
true.
in there. But you're right.
But there's so much CGI.
Tangent. CGI wasn't great in the movie Black Panther.
Okay.
Is it nominated for visual effects? Tell me that.
I can't remember. Hold on.
You got to check that for me.
I only counted.
If it is, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, it is. But, I mean, that's going to be my point. It's like when I came out of it the first time, I was like, wow, the CGI was bad. Then I watched Justice League 3 days later and didn't think it was as bad.
Okay, here's...
Yeah.
It's all about perspective. So what it got was obviously an award for Best Picture, award for Best Original Music Score,
which is very like originality and
I don't know.
I remember
Academy
African
Award for
drums, and that's about it. For the soundtrack.
Best costume design. Well, Scotty made an interesting comparison.
Oh, every time the city comes up, there's these trumpet cues, which is the same trumpet cues they have for Naboo in Episode 1.
Of the Phantom Menace, of Star Wars.
Also a very CGI heavy movie.
It is.
Yes.
The comparisons between the two. They're there.
Yeah.
Academy Award for Best Sound Mixing, Academy Award for Best Production Design, Academy Award for Best Sound Editing, and I think we just hit all of them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And the other ones we've already mentioned.
Well, Jordan, I think it's time for you to dive.
Okay, here we go. It's time for Deep Dive.
Not a fan of that segment. I think we need to exit.
Yeah, I'm sick of doing it. To be honest.
No, it's what the people want. They demand it, Jordan, every single time. You have to keep doing it.
I feel like
it's part of
Scotty.
your contract.
I feel like Scotty is really getting off on me doing that, and it's no. You suggest that I do it every single time.
Well, Caleb, do you want to do it?
It's too late. We've already done it.
Let's get off too much on watching you get off on Jordan doing this. Okay.
I'm getting off on watching Jordan.
All right.
Jump straight into it, Jordan. Tell us what's up.
So we start the film off in a flashback of the king of Wakanda visiting his brother, and there's like a
plot beat by beat.
No. I think it's important to note that the amount of flashbacks in this film, there's a lot of flashbacks.
Flashback heavy, especially at the start.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was sitting in the cinema watching it, and then that made me think of this time that I went to get a coffee. And that also reminded me of a time when back and forth.
Really?
There were a lot of flashbacks.
That was a flashback within a flashback with that.
In this movie,
that's
that's
flashbackception.
That was just that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It never actually gets to a point. It's just setting up the next flashback.
Yeah. There is one semi, I guess you call it flat. That's when he dream walks.
Yeah, there's two DreamWorks scenes.
Which they're
They're not
okay.
flashbacks.
But there's one in particular that I really liked, and it was one that actually worked. And it's Michael B. Jordan's one, where he goes back into his apartment and we see him discovering who his father really is for the first time and all that. And that was, I felt it was really good because the performance, I can't remember his name.
Michael B. Jordan?
No, the guy who plays his dad. He's a fantastic actor, and I feel horrible because I tried to memorize his name before, but he does really well with the scene, and the kid that plays the younger version of Michael B. Jordan's character in the scene is also really good. Mm-hmm. And you actually feel like a lot of genuine emotion in that scene, but it's all for nothing because all of the other scenes that lead up to this are just exposition heavy, and
Killmonger lives up to his name. Like his pseudonym, I guess.
Yeah. So he's basically a hired killer for the American army. He's like special forces. He's, done this, that, and the other thing with the army, and now he's a weapons trade he trades illegal weapons on the black market and all that other stuff.
Caleb, did you want to give us a basic synopsis of this movie?
Please do.
Of the movie?
Yeah.
A magic space rock lands in Africa.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good place to start.
They start an advanced civilization.
That's a long synopsis. We're already in like the first.
I know.
Is that it?
And then I don't know, an African lineage of kings hands each other down this magical flower, which gives them powers, which they inexplicably don't.
Which was given to them
out of or whatever. Which I also appreciate that they didn't try and go that route with the plot.
Yes.
And then family troubles happen, and there's a conflict over the throne.
That's basically it. Yeah.
The end.
I struggled with coming up with a synopsis because it tries to do a lot.
There's a lot going on. It's a very convoluted plot for a Marvel movie, especially. There's a lot going on.
I felt it was a bit inconsistent.
Yeah,
yes,
all over the place.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
There are moments that seem really good and like the nugget of an awesome idea.
Yes.
And then other scenes where they make obscure references to internet assholes. Like Jake Paul. There's a what are those joke in this movie.
Which works because Letitia Wright is so charismatic. I'm serious.
Did you just say that it works?
Yes, I do say it works, but not because...
I agree that it works as in it tries hard.
Not because of the dialogue, not because of anything else except for Letitia Wright, which is one of my high points to this film. Letitia Wright, I've got a list here actually. Letitia Wright, Andy Serkis, and Michael B. Jordan really hold this film up.
Mm-hmm. Sure, they're fine. I just really hated the Jake Paul reference.
No, that's fine.
That was awful.
That's fine.
That was really bad.
But that I think you're hating it because it's
I
a Jake
slumped
Paul
in my
reference.
chair when hearing that.
I think that's because you hate Jake Paul, which is fair. I mean,
I don't know the guy. I just think he's done a lot of dumb shit.
We Movies
That's-
hates Jake Paul.
that's pretty much it.
Controversy here on We Movies.
but no, I understand that, but I don't give a shit about Jake Paul or whatever the hell he thinks he's doing.
But the writer or the director felt it enough to put it in the actual movie.
But I still,
Wow.
I still think it works because Letitia Wright owns it.
Yeah.
And
They're trying to push a pop culture.
Yeah, I
relevant
know that. I
kind of
understand
thing,
that.
which is sort of at odds with the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've reached this peak advanced civilization without any sort of outside help.
Isn't YouTube
Which
the
kind of
peak
just
peak-
it kind of just begs the question: is like how much contact do they have with the outside world?
Well,
Like,
I mean,
do they
if-
have internet?
if they, I would assume they would have internet just because
Does that
she
mean
knows
people could hack and find out about
so
Wakanda?
much. Well, but that's the thing.
And they can find what's this IP address doing in the middle of Africa? Like, let's have a look. Oh,
But why
I don't
would
know.
why would a civilization who has access to superior technology to the rest of the world, they're light years ahead of the rest of the world, why the hell would they make themselves easy to find on the internet?
well, that's exactly right.
Like they wouldn't.
And yet, there's top scientists watching Jake Paul videos.
Yeah. this top scientist is also what 13, 14 years old in this film?
Is she?
What?
I think she's
Yeah.
older than that.
She's not that old.
No, but I think she's older than that.
I got the impression that she was just a teenager, to be honest.
Yeah, she could be 18, 19. I wouldn't say she's older than that. Maybe.
I don't know.
but
I
would say she's
assume
younger
she
than
was younger than that.
All right, I think she's been huffing a bit of the that adamantium. What's it called?
that. Vibranium.
Vibranium. I think she's been huffing a bit of the vibranium.
Get
because
your
this
Marvel lore right,
This is
mate.
a
all right?
magic rock. Let's not forget. It heals
It's a
people.
MacGuffin. It's a MacGuffin.
It grows a magic flower.
They literally do
Wait.
drugs in this movie.
Does it?
They do, don't they?
Does vibranium heal people, or does the flower heal people?
No. The flower gives them superhuman powers.
Yeah.
It's the technology that vibranium provides that heals people.
So it's still
Okay.
like science and all this other stuff.
Because
It's just
science.
super sped up because they're
It's not
super
magic.
advanced.
It's science.
Exactly, which is a line from the movie.
Although the line from the movie is that the first dude was led to the rock because of a magic panther dream he had.
That's
Bust.
also true.
Bust, which is an actual African god as
Yeah.
well.
And,
So-
then the king himself has a vision where he sees all the other kings, and then he yells at them because he's off his face on drugs. It feels
well,
like
that's
it's
his
ripped out of
second
The Lion
time there.
King.
That's the second time he's there.
Right.
But also, if we're dealing with the whole mythos of Marvel, then we've also got to take into account the fact that Thor is from another world and he's like a couple of 100 years old, and
15,000 years old.
I can buy the perspective of they're all high on drugs, but at the same time, if we're dealing with the Marvel universe,
I just meant that as a joke.
Yeah, I know.
going with this.
I have no problem with it if it wants to establish itself in magic and science and a marriage of the two. The fact of the movie
It's
matter
not
is that the movie
consistent.
doesn't explain any of that.
It's not consistent.
It kind of jumps from one to the other. It's kind of just a...
Yeah, that's a good point. The exposition is not consistent with
Exactly,
this
yeah.
movie.
No, and one of the things that I found is Lupita Nyong'o's character who plays Chadwick
T'Challa's-
Boseman. Thank you. I was gonna say that, but I didn't know
Black
how to say
Panther
it, and I would have
Girlfriend.
screwed it
I
up.
was gonna say boyfriend.
Anyway, the whole thing was she's like saying, "Oh, I've got to leave. I've got to, do these humanitarian things."
that's right, that's
and
right.
then he's like, "Wait, hold
scenes
on.
later.
He says, "No, we can't do any. We cannot risk being seen and all this stuff." And literally, the next scene, they're in downtown Korea.
Yeah.
And they're like, just going into this massive fight and jumping in cars and having a street race, all this other stuff. And it's like, oh no, but we can't be seen. We can't make the rest of the world know that we're here. And they're going out of their way to make trouble everywhere else.
It's
I
very
also
convenient.
really want to point out that the very first time we're introduced to her, she's clearly undercover trying to figure out some sort of human trafficking
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
going on.
and he
just
ruins
pops
it.
out of nowhere,
He
kills
ruins
everyone,
it.
and says, "Oh, we'll go
I'm
return
gonna be
the
king
people."
now. Come with me.
And she's like, "Hey, dude, I was trying to topple like an entire human trafficking
Yeah.
thing going on," and he's like,
never
"I really want you to come back with me and watch a crown get put on my head."
Yeah.
If this is more important than your human trafficking
Way
thing
more.
going
And
on.
that is another inconsistency because throughout the movie, I think it's like once or twice elsewhere in the film, he says how important it is that they need to be looking out for their fellow man and all that. But he's like literally done nothing but shift all of that kind of stuff aside as if it doesn't matter
He has
apart
that
from
time
putting
to-
a
I
frigging
think
crown
he's
on his
meaning,
head.
Like he's very national.
I understand
focused.
that. I
We
understand
need to
that.
watch out for Wakanda itself, which
But-
is the only way the movie explains as to how the rest of
Yeah.
Africa has gone the way the rest of Africa
But
has.
that
because
being
they've
said,
secluded themselves.
he's still
They're
like
isolated.
halfway through the film. He's arguing with Warmonger about, no, we aren't the ruler of everyone. We want everyone to get along, kind of thing.
Well,
but you're not.
yeah.
You're going against this with. But the problem is,
think-
I wouldn't mind if any of this happened.
I should
but
point out these issues of isolationism and helping other people.
It's
with
the
what
most
they've got.
interesting part of the movie.
It's also a much bigger issue for the Americans than it is for us.
I understand that, but my problem is
That's
that
a massive issue for them.
no, but that's
Right.
not my problem. My problem is they mention it and then they sweep it under the
Yes.
rug. That's my biggest problem. They don't utilize it as an actual point or
See-
anything to push the story or the characters
I've heard
forward.
people saying that Warmonger is one of the most interesting Marvel villains. I disagree, because maybe if it was a movie about him and everything about him and his whole ideology is the fact that we need to share Wakanda with everyone. And people say, oh, he wasn't a stereotypical Marvel villain where he just wanted to kill everyone. That's exactly what he was.
Yeah.
He wanted to reveal Wakanda to the world so he could go and conquer
He wanted to
the
be
rest
king of the world.
That's what he said, yeah.
That's it. I completely refute the argument that he had.
He was Rose in Titanic.
Do you want to
Yeah.
say, because apparently your sister had an opinion of that character.
Oh no! So my sister watched the movie and it's like the first thing she said. She watched it last night, first time.
First time.
Yeah, and she's like, "Wow, this is bad." And she's like,
Oh.
"What should have happened is he should have killed T'Challa. T'Challa should have stayed dead after he gets pushed off the thing,
Wait
and
for
then he
it.
should have become the Black Panther and done what he did, T'Challa did at the end of the movie."
Right.
So he should have
There you
become
go.
good. Like he should
Yeah.
have come good and been like, "Hey, I'm actually not the villain," kind of thing. I find that a little bit more interesting than what happened.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I want to point out that I really like Michael B. Jordan. He's a great actor.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think he has good moments in Black Panther.
yeah, definitely. It's not his fault. It's
I
not
wasn't
his fault.
sold that he was just this hardened serial killer soldier dude. He came off as a little whiny. I get it that he had a tragic backstory and he wanted revenge and this and that. I just wasn't sold that he was this hardened dude.
Yeah, the thing that didn't
Maybe that was purposeful. Maybe that was the inconsistency
He did
of the
kill a
movie
lot of
coming
people,
through.
but
the thing
Hmm.
that didn't do it for me in that regard is that he kept talking about his motives
Right.
every single chance he got. Like he would explain, we need to send weapons out to these people. Oh, look at this! With this weapon, we like people. Our war dogs in New York will be able to kill the leaders and all this other stuff. And
Rise up.
it was just repetitive. With no character development
It
behind
was
it,
weird.
no more interesting
No,
information.
It looked like it was aimed at a very specific demographic
And that's a shame.
because I don't think it. Well, first of all, it's not an opinion I necessarily think should
Who was it
represent.
aimed towards? The Irish?
Yes, the Irish.
Yeah,
The Black Irish. To be specific.
I
Sorry.
thought the Irish were quite racist against everybody.
Yeah, especially themselves. All those jokes about the Irish were originally invented by the Irish.
Oh,
I don't know. Was it aimed towards a certain demographic?
I hope not. To be honest,
No, I feel like
I don't feel like it was.
That doesn't
I
gel
don't-
well
okay,
with me
so-
at all.
No, I feel like it was aimed at for a demographic, not necessarily at them. So, or representative of them. It feels.
Especially with his last dying speech.
Yes.
There's the dying speech where he says, and I don't think it's warranted at all. He says,
Well, that's my point.
"Let me bury me out at sea with my ancestors who couldn't take the yoke of oppression and being in prison and slavery and all this
Sorry,
other stuff."
Caleb, we're talking about politics.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I know we swore. Okay, for context, before that we started this podcast, we swore we wouldn't be political, but at the same time, this film utilizes politics for its
And it doesn't-
it's like it's
doesn't do
marketing,
nothing.
like it does.
I suppose it does.
Like
yeah.
that last
Yeah.
speech that he does is literally just about slavery and all this other stuff. And for me, watching it, it felt unnecessary.
Because what the story is actually about is a power struggle for a kingdom,
Yeah,
which has got nothing to do with slavery.
I mean, well,
I suppose
yeah.
it does fit.
I mean,
does
we're
fit
white,
because the whole point
so-
of him is that you guys have Wakanda has secluded themselves forever,
Yeah.
and that look at the oppression of your people and your brothers all around the place.
which makes sense, but
it does make sense.
never
it
see
comes
it,
on.
though.
It comes on the exact. You never see it, but it also
Okay,
comes on the
so I
tail
think-
end of
I
him
think this
over.
This is a fair
Yeah.
part of the cultural background that we don't
Yes.
have. I think
Yes.
it's very widely
white.
known and accepted that black people have had the short end of the stick historically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's assumed.
Yeah.
Right. And
That
so I
is-
think
yeah.
the movie feels no need to delve into that. It just assumes that everyone's well aware of this. So when they're constantly referencing it,
But that
the people who didn't grow up in that
that-
context maybe were a bit out of the loop.
And
but-
they actually call the Americans colonists and stuff like that. So there are obviously
Right.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
another
Oh,
thing
that's
is,
right. Insult thrown at Martin Freeman is colonizer.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's right.
But they
But
also
if we
do
get
it to the exclusive
colonizer.
extent, as in it's only black people that have had this. It's not American Indians. It's not
Yeah.
indigenous cultures to other people, not Pacific Islanders or Kiwis or Australians, indigenous descent.
Yeah.
It's just, or even white people in certain nations, because there are white nations that have had specific groups demolished. So it's
Well,
happening.
we're not allowed to talk about that. Anyway, the reason I didn't want to get into politics is because it's so blatantly obvious the reason this movie is getting nominated
yeah.
is because they want to champion. I think there's two reasons. One, they want to champion, look at how politically correct we are. Look at
Yeah.
how amazing we are. We're taking affirmative action. We're really correcting the wrongs.
Which I would say is a little bit of an overreaction, but I can understand it.
You know, it's I
I mean,
actually
I get it.
accept
It's kind of,
yeah.
it's so obvious though. It's so obvious.
Yeah, it
And I
is.
think the second reason is that the Oscars this year are just really trying to do popular movies that the people enjoy, so that they'll actually watch them.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
They'll watch the Oscars and say, "I want my favorite movie to win." No, I want my favorite movie
Yeah.
to win.
Yeah. Oh, also, I'd like to point out that this year's Oscars, there's been fiery debate over whether the cinematography award and some of the editing awards will actually even be aired.
which I think is very
Really?
strange.
Why?
Yeah, I
What's
don't
all
know.
this about? I haven't heard anything about it.
I don't know.
It's
Well,
really
it's
to do
it's
with
been over the
airing.
Twitter sphere recently. I've seen a lot of cinematographers who are part of the American cinematographer organization that are all saying, "Look, I'm going to boycott the Academy Awards if you guys aren't going to show, you know, the awards for these categories because it's ridiculous that you're cutting them out."
No,
Which I
Oh, they're
found-
cutting out cinematography.
They're considering it.
Well,
That's
the
ridiculous.
the awards will still be given out, but they will be cut from broadcasting,
'Cause
so
there's
the public
already
won't be able
a
to see
massive
it.
technical section which does have its own thing, and
Yeah.
these briefly mention it usually on the Oscars in a montage video.
Yeah.
But I think it's tragic for cinematography, especially because cinematography is such a massive part of film
Oh,
making.
you can't
How
not
can you
have
cut
a
that?
movie without cinematography. Like it's not
That's
possible.
ridiculous. I think the Oscars just goes too long.
I think
as
that
it
is
is.
that is.
Yeah.
the
I think they
problem.
just bloated.
There's a lot of pump.
Way
There's a
too
lot
much.
of.
So-
I mean, they spend like 2 hours on the red carpet. I think, like
Yeah.
just taking
Okay,
photos.
but
Ricky
that's
Gervais
something I like.
said it best in the Golden Globes, where he walked out with a beer in his hand and he said, "This is way too long. I mean,
Uh-huh.
wow, this could be done in like half an hour. Seriously."
Uh,
I
and
think
did he
hit
ever
the
come
nail on
back
the head.
again?
Yeah, he did.
He did.
He's been there 4 times.
Oh
Come
wow!
on.
Then they-
Oh, so that was the
then
first
they
time, was
I
it?
have no idea what
Oh,
time
okay.
it was.
Right.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they just can't give it to him every year. They have to give it to him every other
I
year.
actually wouldn't
Uh,
mind if they cut the best song award from the Oscars, or at least they stopped doing the songs
Yeah.
at the Oscars.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one.
Those are really
Yeah.
just. Anyway, can we get back to Black Panther?
Yeah.
Because I got
have to?
another bone to pick with it. The cinematography. While we're on cinematography,
Yeah, it's very shoddy.
I did not like the cinematography for this movie, which is a shame because the cinematographer is the same one who did the previous films with Ryan Coogler, which
He
is
did Creed?
she.
She did Creed,
Yeah.
sorry?
I don't think she did Creed, but she did the other ones before Creed.
Okay.
She came back for this one.
Yeah, that one shot in Creed was awesome.
But
I'm assuming
she,
that was, that was
but-
her who did the
I
cinematography.
don't know.
there is a rule when it comes to cinematography that cinematographers can either follow or break according to what they want to do emotionally with the scene, and you see it a lot in horror films, especially to show that something's not right, something is about to happen or something like that. It's called the 180 rule, and what happens is you generally try and stay on one line, so you've got one person there, and if you're shooting them over someone's shoulder, you have to switch and stay on that shot. Otherwise, it becomes weird. It becomes discombobulating. The audience doesn't know
Yeah.
what is going on. So
A
you
good
can
example
break
of
it. You
this
can.
is in Infinity War at the opening sequence, and Thanos first appears.
Yes.
He walks forward and he's holding Thor. It actually does this around him.
Yeah, it parallaxes around him to change that imaginary line so that we go, okay, something bad is about to happen. But in Black Panther, they do this almost constantly, and even in some of the slower scenes where we've got what's his name? His best mate at the very beginning of the film. They're talking.
Daniel Kaluuya's character?
Daniel Kaluuya's character, and they're talking in front of his giant rhinoceros. But
That's not a euphemism.
no.
took that right
That's a
out.
literal giant rhinoceros.
Did I really take that right out of your mouth?
You took that giant right out of my mouth.
All right, break it up, guys. But in this scene, they start off with the 180 rule, and then suddenly we switch behind different places, and suddenly there's a weird close-up and a weird... But this doesn't happen in this one scene. It happens almost continuously throughout the film in scenes that don't... nothing's happening, you know what I mean?
Especially action sequences.
Yes.
So the perspectives are kind of jarring.
It's very jarring. For no reason. Like, there's
so
no...
The
there's
CGI is kind of like, why?
I would like to... one of the worst things that happens is in the fight between Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa and Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger, where they're having the duel over who's going to be king.
Yeah.
The cinematographer does not pick up the action sequences very well. Not only that, they don't pick up the character moments very well of the audience. So what you're left with is this hard-to-follow action sequence which has no character merit, even though you can actually tell they've actually put a lot of time.
Well, the actors know what they're doing in terms of their character moments, because you've got his little sister like crying in the background. You've got his mother like trying to like look away and all this other stuff, but the camera is barely staying on them. We don't register these moments. We don't see the impact of what's going on in the fight on the characters that are watching, and all of the reason why the fight was taking place just loses all meaning by the end of it.
Can we go back? Because right at the start, there is a massive problem in this movie, and that is this movie is essentially following on from Civil War.
Yes.
So there's a big issue right at the start of this movie, that the previous king is dead. People seem to have forgotten this in terms of how they're acting. Like, he's dead, but no one seems to be grieving particularly well.
And not just that, like, there is a conversation where we're supposed to believe that he is meeting his mother for the first time since his father has died, and his mother is not that broken up about it.
Well, her acting is actually the only one I believe in this regard, because it does feel like she's holding it together. But everyone
that's
else
fair.
is like,
Yeah, I can see that.
That can't possibly be the first time that they're meeting.
That's what I said.
It can't be.
That's what I said at first.
Feel like
I was like, no way.
Him returning after going away on another mission, but he's been home.
But the thing is, they're
acting like it's the first time they're coming back to it, though, because they're in the plane and they're like, and his bodyguard who's driving the aircraft turns around, and I swear she's got like a tear in her eye because she's so happy to be home, and she says, "We're home," kind of thing, and it's a big moment and stuff. But then you realize, wait, hold on, they would have had to to have been home already.
When they're first coming into Wakanda, there's a lot of exposition lines as well.
There is.
Which the first time viewing, I think they were fine, but second time viewing,
the problem with the exposition in this film is it's repetitive. So if they've said one thing, they're going to say it a couple more times by the end of the film.
Yeah, and also the weird thing is they show it. Like, they actually do the classic show not tell, but then they tell it as well.
Yeah, while they're showing it, and I don't like that. Yeah. I do not like that.
Movie's kind of meh.
Yeah,
action isn't that impressive. It's fun sometimes.
So
on occasion,
Jordan and I rewatched it today, and then we stopped at half an hour and was like, okay, we should watch Civil War first, so we can get the context, and we couldn't find Civil War. So then we decided ended up watching it, and then we watched Infinity War Part 1 afterwards.
Okay.
And the weird thing about Infinity War was, unlike Black Panther, my opinion of it stayed the same or even improved, as opposed to Black Panther, where my opinion of watching it again actually got worse.
Wow.
There's an actual scene in Infinity War where Tom Holland as Spider-Man, they're all on the spaceship that is careening out of the atmosphere and all this other stuff, and Tony is berating him for following him, and he's like, "Hey, it's not my fault. In fact, it's your suit. Like, it's your fault that I'm here." Yeah. And then obviously later on, Spider-Man dies, and then Tony feels that guilt. It's just like a lot of the dialogue in Infinity War leading up to these big moments has some merit on the characters when they do hit.
A lot of the comedy in this movie, in Infinity War, actually is very tragic comedy as well. There's a lot of weight to it. Even though it's still a Marvel movie, it's still a Avengers movie, which all had these quippy lines and stuff like that. It still has this gravitas, which actually adds on the second viewing.
Now, that's the Russo brothers.
It's Russo brothers.
They know how to do that tragic comedy kind of stuff.
Also, we want to mention Infinity War because it also shows Wakanda. And
they do.
And the general bodyguard lady who is she has this fantastic line about, when we were opening our borders, I thought it would be this war thing. I thought we'd be like getting a Starbucks and stuff. And it's this really great line.
And it's just a throwaway line, and it was funnier than any of her comedy lines in Black Panther were.
Yeah,
which
also like a good character line.
Yeah,
as opposed to some
she has a few great lines in Infinity War.
Yeah,
like when the Scarlet Witch comes out, and she's like, "What was she doing up there?" This whole time? I mean,
And
Yeah,
there's more character development in her character in this film, and she's not a focal point than she was when she was a focal point in Black Panther, which
Also,
I found
Wakanda
interesting.
itself looks better in
Yeah.
Infinity War than it
Yeah.
does in.
And
Black
I'm
Panther.
not saying that we're bad at doing CGI. I'm not saying that at all.
Overall, the CGI in Infinity War is a lot better. Than
It's a
in
lot
Black
polished.
Panther.
It's a lot more
Absolutely.
polished.
During the credit
Yeah.
sequences of both of them, we found this funny thing where Film Victoria, Australian film company, did the CGI for Black Panther, and New Zealand did the CGI for
Infinity War.
and well, we're good fans. We're
We're
fans
not- I'm
of
not-
Kiwis, so
Yes. I don't want to say anything bad about our Australian film industry, but
don't
the
need
CGI was not great. The CGI was
boy.
not great. It was not great. It was passable, but it was not great.
Passable, really?
That's what I'm saying, passable. Hey, it wasn't no Birdemic, is
Hey,
all I'm
okay.
saying.
There was a time where they drove a car, and I thought that looks slightly less CGI than the other cars around the place.
Slightly. Only slightly.
So I mean, it has that going for it, which is
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Also, that another funny.
Yeah.
There's comedic elements in Black Panther as well that feel out of place.
The only time
One of
I
those?
genuinely laughed were like when Letitia Wright was on screen. Like, I also want to point out Letitia Wright made her co-stars better whenever she was on screen.
Oh,
There's a scene where we see Chadwick Boseman, and he's like very, just straight faced, just like nothing's really. He's just being Black Panther, and then but when he interacts with his sister from the very beginning, he starts off as very closed off, but throughout the scene, as he's interacting with Letitia's bringing out more interactions with him for him to feed off as an actor, and I was like, that's
relationship
like
was
she is an
believable.
unselfish actor,
Yeah.
and that's the best kind of actor that you want to work with, because those actors allow organic things to pop up, but they also work towards the good of the scene, not the good of the character. And she did phenomenal work as an actor. I see her work, and I can respect that.
Also,
that was really well done.
Some of the mannerisms that they have in the movie, such as the salute and stuff like that, she did it effortlessly, which is really.
She made it look natural.
Whereas some of the others don't, and
It looks very
it
stiff.
actually stands out more,
Yeah.
and it makes it funny that she, who's meant to be this rebel scientist character, does it better than everyone else.
Yeah.
I just thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Also, we probably should talk about the two white actors in this movie,
Yeah, the two.
Martin Freeman and Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis. I love Andy Serkis. I think he's one of the most underrated actors when it comes to, especially awards season. There's a number of performances that he has done that have been in motion capture that have been completely ignored by the Academy, and I'm not surprised, but I am disappointed.
I feel like eventually he's going to get. If
He
doesn't-
will.
He will get an honorary Oscar if he doesn't get anything else.
Yeah. Which, again, is a shame. I think he should at least be nominated for some of these things. But
then
but
he killed
again,
them off.
he makes a lot of the scenes that he's in effortless.
Yeah.
I feel like he just slips in and he's natural.
When he shows up, not in the first scene, but when he's in South Korea for the first time,
Yeah.
he just comes in. He's just all
He's having
charisma.
fun. Yeah, he's charismatic. He's
And then
it's
Martin
great.
Freeman's in that scene as well, and he just slips in, and it's weird. There's this sense of familiarity, just Martin Freeman there.
Comfortability, I think. It's just-
Yeah, okay.
And you said something about his his style of acting as well that I feel.
I feel like he's it's weird to call him a character actor, but I think he actually is a character actor. It's
Yeah.
just the characters he plays are rather not the characters you think of when you talk about character actors.
Yeah.
They're normalish.
normal human beings. He plays normal human really well.
Yeah.
He's got a very normal face.
But he looks like he has a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Martin
Wow.
Freeman is kind of just meh in this.
Yeah,
Yeah, he is.
he is.
You
He's
know-
been great in other things.
I just don't
He's
think
awesome. He's
like
just kind of meh.
to that point.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think he could have had anything more to do with what he
his
was
character's
given.
a throwaway character. His relationship with T'Challa is actually pretty good though.
Yeah, it's interesting to.
'Cause
Yeah.
it
I
brings
was
up.
so surprised to see him in Civil War.
Yes,
There was so many actors in Civil War.
yes, there are.
And then all of a sudden, Martin Freeman as well. Throw him in as some dude.
Some dude.
Some dude. and in Black
Some
Panther,
government-
he's some
government
dude.
dude, yeah.
He's some government dude. And that's it.
He had a little bit more weight in Civil War though because of the whole government presence, I guess.
Yeah.
A little bit more weight.
Yeah, you
Whereas,
do feel him being interjected into it.
Yeah.
Because the government's trying to, get
Exactly, yeah,
get
and
involved
within the
get
context,
their
it makes
hands
sense.
on it.
But But with Black Panther, I did find there was no reason for them to bring him home to heal him. There was no reason for that to happen because
they needed an excuse to get him there.
Choice.
And that's the problem. Like he was a plot point rather than an actual character.
That's the problem with Andy Serkis is like his character ends up being a plot point as opposed to the character, even though he's like
he's there because we can bridge our worlds together.
Yeah.
Yay.
The South Africans and the Africans
a character
together
who does
at
work,
last.
in my opinion, is Winston Duke's character.
Yeah.
Who plays
the big guy.
There are 5 tribes in Wakanda.
Yeah.
M'Baku?
Yeah, M'Baku. He's so good. He's so good.
He's fun to watch.
Yeah. He is fun to watch.
Absolutely.
He knows, and I think this was one of his first big film roles actually for his career. Like he'd been in bit parts and TV shows here and there, but this one was the first one that he was like actually stepping out. Now he's in Us, which is Jordan Peele's next film, the follow on from Get Out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, yeah, awesome, because I felt he was one of the highlights for Black Panther for me.
He has a good screen presence.
Yes.
A lot of charisma.
I wanted him to be the king.
Actually, that's funny because his sequence with T'Challa later on in the movie is also, I think, one of T'Challa's, Chadwick Boseman's best moments.
Yeah.
When they're just talking one-on-one, because that's when you, like,
he loosens up when he's like doing one-on-one scenes, but when he's around, and that could be a character choice, maybe, I guess, but I don't think it works.
No, what I think is the problem is there are a lot of things that have been thrown at him, a lot of character things, and he can't really focus on one at a time. So they get jumbled up. So when there are these clean scenes of what he's meant to do in these individual scenes, is it dinner time?
Yeah, Caleb's got to go take his drugs.
Okay, I think we've actually done.
I think we've covered everything, guys. We have finally reached the end of this podcast on Black Panther.
Like we could talk forever about it. There's things that are good about it, and then there's things that aren't good about it. But most of it is kind of just middle of the road.
Yeah.
It's a Marvel movie. It's a superhero
I think
movie,
I was okay with it until they announced that it had received a nomination for Best Picture.
That really highlights the movie. It kind of forces us to just go back and put a magnifying glass over it.
It forces us to pick it apart, which is a shame because I don't think it does it credit to the movie or the Oscars. I think it's bad for both the fact that it got nominated.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. Because people are going to look back on this and go, really? Because I think contextually, I don't think this film is going to age very well. Like, call me crazy, but I don't think it's going to age very well.
It's always going to be championed as like a lance.
I understand that.
A milestone for like black cinema.
I understand that, but as a movie, as a film that exists as a narrative, I don't think it's going to age very well.
I think it's kind of an insult to 12 Years a Slave, to Moonlight.
If Beale Street could talk.
If Beale Street could take the hate you give, I think I agree. I think it is an insult to those films because I believe that those films were A, better made, and B, made on a smaller budget, and C, had a more cohesive narrative.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's my problem is that it has an incohesive narrative. The CGI sucks. Yeah. Frankly, it sucks.
Yeah.
And you had to hear first, folks.
No, I'm sure you didn't.
So this is a movie that was marketed for mass audiences by a company that is
proven.
It factory makes these movies to be mass appeal.
This piece
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're giving money and awards to a faceless corporation, you know.
Yeah. And to be fair, like the cast, even though their plot doesn't work, they commit to it, and all the actors.
I don't blame the actors.
Really
the actors.
Look, I'm not. It's not a bad movie.
No,
it's not a bad movie.
Under the context of the Academy Awards, though, as you said,
I didn't realize we were giving Best Picture to fine movies.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Maybe in the 40s.
And the only reason I think why this is, especially, it's been magnified and blown a little bit more out of proportion is because where's Infinity War? It was way better. It was way more enjoyable. I enjoyed all of the cast from Black Panther a lot more in Infinity War.
Yes. Yeah. The ones that we saw, anyway.
Yeah. And just it was just better crafted as a film. Everything wasn't wasted. There was no wasted time like there was in Black Panther. Mm-hmm. I feel like every time there are words being spoken by a character that is just exposition and being repeated, you've already wasted, X amount of time by repeating the same things.
And what's worse is it makes the character moments that you do have fade into the distance.
Yeah.
Look, it's good that it's a positive African American actor and cast being portrayed in a positive light. That's not them being downtrodden.
Yeah.
and in any of those sort of historical contexts.
Yep.
It's great for that. But
The thing is, I would still give it a 6 out of 10. I'm not trying to take anything away from the movie.
Sure.
I still
No.
think it's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's just not great or even comparatively
this is why I didn't
good.
want to get political. Because
Exactly.
it's just, who cares? Judge
Yeah.
it as a movie.
Yeah.
Judge it
Yes.
as a movie. And as
Yeah,
a movie,
at the
it's
end of the
fine.
day, yeah.
It's not great. Why is it at the Oscars? That's it.
Yeah.
I think what we would prefer is if all the stigma surrounding it was actually taken away, because I think it doesn't do it service.
It makes, honestly, I enjoy the film less every single time I hear about the politics behind
yeah,
it.
I agree.
Because it doesn't,
We're doing exactly what the Academy Awards wants, and we're talking about it.
yeah.
We're putting its name up there. That's it.
But then again,
We're kind of feeding
it's
into
already
it.
made $1 billion.
we have like
It's
me.
going to make $1 billion more. Disney is now just been like, people are still talking about it, eh?
Yeah.
The Academy Awards are like, oh, people are talking about us finally.
Finally.
After our lowest rated year ever. I mean,
I honestly
cares?
think you've hit the nail on the head with that. After the lowest rated year of the Academy Awards, this is them trying to make themselves relevant again.
Yeah,
You know what else is
100%.
better than this movie?
that's better.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
did that get nominated at all?
No, it got
It got best animated picture
That's it.
nomination. So that's
I would
awesome.
if it ever got, if
There
it
you
got
go.
even considered for best picture, like not even on the if it was just on the show
I'd
list,
love it if we
that'd
got
be
it.
really
So,
cool.
well, yeah.
It's unlikely.
No.
Yeah, I think that's been us. So
That's it.
I'm Scotty,
I'm Jordan.
Caleb.
and we were We Movies.
We movies.
We movies.
No,
And we
Before
may
fell
continue
from
to be
grace,
we movies.
Before we got political.
We'll just release another video later apologizing for our Black Panther review and wearing
Yes.
t-shirts that say Marvel on them.
Absolutely. In
All right,
advance, we are not sorry.
Warner Brothers are secretly financing us. Where DC is in our
Secretly.
pocketbook.
Meanwhile, how great was Justice League
Oh my goodness.
featuring
Oh,
a black lead? Hey,
I know,
guys,
right?
They're getting pretty progressive over there.
Yeah.
At DC.
Have you seen
Exactly.
our Aquaman review?
You should go see that. We were like really wrong about that movie. Oh, I can't do this. All right, guys.
Thanks for watching.
That's it. See you guys later.
We are sorry. We apologize that you had to sit through this. We love you. See you later.
Bye.
Shout out to Chris.
Shout out
Shout out to Chris.
Shout out to Chris. Woo.